All right. Welcome everyone to the Pay Raise Playbook. I'm your host, Christy Rutherford, and today we're going to talk to Brenda Kitchen about how to overcome and get through life storms. Are you ready, Brenda?
I am.
All right, great. So, Brenda, champion, I ain't gonna ask how mature you are because we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about the stuff that's going on in the world. I mean, you look mature. You ain't no spring chicken. You cute though. I mean, so I probably could have started better than that. You ain't no spring chicken though. So what Brenda and I want to talk about is the stuff that's going on today. If you can just keep your wits about you, right? If you can just keep your mindset about you, then you can stay steady in the storm and learn how to ride the waves of what's going on in the world. There are no new things that are going on in the world. It's just a cycle of stuff that hits the fan and then it goes back to normal. And then it hits the fan and then it goes back to normal. Then it hits the fan and then it goes back to normal. And so I want to bring on our most mature client that has ever worked with us over here at Vision Finder International, Brenda Kitchen, to be able to share her insights. So, Brenda.
Yes, ma'am.
You cute, you fine. I mean, I like your glasses.
Thank you.
So tell us what was going on with you when you decided to reach out to us over here at Vision Finder International.
Oh, that's an interesting story. When I reached out, I had just retired forcibly because, I went to a meeting and I wasn't having the foolishness in the room. So I basically let everybody in the room have it. And so they wanted me gone and I left. But hindsight being 2020, it probably was the best thing that could have happened to me because I was ready to go anyway, but I wanted to go on my terms. And I still got part of that, but it caused me to really think about how I showed up that day. That's the story.
Okay, that's the legal story. Okay, great.
You want me to tell the real story?
No, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Because here's the thing about my clients. I like to keep, we don't tell all your business out here in these streets because y'all got brands and y'all are professionals. And all of my clients are high achieving women who have gone through some stuff, and just being a high achieving woman, a high achieving black woman, a high achieving black woman over the age of 30, 32, you're going to have to go through some stuff. So how did you connect with us? Did you call me or how did we get on the phone? I can't remember what happened.
I saw an Instagram post. I listened to it. I listened to your, it was a Saturday morning. I listened to what you had to say and I reached out and you said, let's talk right now. And you've been talking for an hour, but you were willing to talk to me. And after I told you my story, you said, you need to get your A in this program right now.
I don't remember that, but yeah, go ahead.
And I said something to the effect of, I don't know if I can afford it. And you said, you can't afford not to. And here's what we're going to do. And I think 20 minutes later, I was signed up. And that Monday I was in a class. I was in a group ready to go.
You know what? I remember now because I told to a lot of people, you said I couldn't afford it. But then when we got off the phone, you looked at all the bougie purses that you had or something. You looked at your lifestyle. It was something that you looked at. You was like, you know what? I would pay for a purse. I might as well just go ahead and assist myself. What was that?
Well, I'm not a purse person. I don't buy purses, but I looked in my closet and I had St. John outfits that still had the tags on them. Still do. And I said, if I'm going to spend that kind of money on an outfit and I'm not going to do what's good for my head and my heart, what is wrong with me? Because I dated a guy, he's bless his heart, he's gone to be with the Lord. And he used to say to me, it's interesting to me that you would put on a St. John outfit, spend $2,000 for a jacket and put on a $3 bra. I said, I don't understand what you're saying. And he said, your outer looks great. Your foundation's not so much. So I told him to shut the hell up and leave me alone. But it was true. And from that day forward, I paid attention to what my undergarments looked like, what kind of pillow I had on my bed. Because you go spend $2,000 for a mattress and you got a $10 pillow, and you can't figure out why your neck hurts. It's just where our priorities are. And mine were misaligned. It was, I'm not taking care of me. I'm not doing the best job of my self-care and my growth. And I think that all shifted. It wasn't always that way. I shifted when I became a mother because I put everybody, everything in front of me, and I lost me.
Okay, we got 8 things to unpack on that one statement.
Okay.
So it's funny because I was thinking, oh, okay, she has all these purses, which, you can get a Fendi purse for $3,000, Gucci for $5,000. You can carry that purse every day. No, you wear one St. John outfit for $3K. Like the jacket, because St. John is bougier, has to pass Fendi purses and boots. Does that make sense? Because St. John is like, let me borrow something. So let's talk about your trauma default, and then we're going to get to your dress, because I ended up, before we got on the call, I looked at the notes when we first talked, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're going to talk about this. It's going to be good. We're going to tell all your business. Okay. So what was your trauma default? And again, trauma default, if you haven't been following me since this year when I started talking about it, Brenda, what took me so long to talk about this thing, Brenda? It's so good. But I know. So your trauma default is, what is your default response to stress? What is your default response to conflict? Because there's a story, there's an underlying story of your life that's going on. And it starts typically in childhood, that shows up in every area of your life as an adult. And so as a pollution investigator in my previous career, while everybody, if you had an oil spill, like a ship hit a bridge or something, you had the people who were going out to the bridge, right, to check the bridge, the engineers. You had the people who were going out to check the ship, which is typically the Coast Guard. I was like the dispatch, and you had the people who were going to, get the oil that washed on the beach, and the people who want to protect the ducks, and then the people who want to protect the environmentally sensitive areas. We were looking for the source of the oil, because if we could stop the oil, then we could do everything else. And so what I've learned in my adulthood is, when I listen to people talk, I listen to the details of their life, which is, that's my jam, right? Just like when I always had to take this stuff to be the 911 operator for maritime accidents, I listen to all these details of, what your life is. I need to look for the source of that, and then I wrap it up for you and give it to you in a 3-minute brief and be like, this is what your problem is. And you'd be like, what? So that's trauma default. What is your default response to conflict in your adulthood? You wearing St. John because you fancy, right? It's a reason why you do that, but then you have the undergarments that don't match. Does that make sense? So I hope I set that up clearly.
You did.
Okay, great. So what was your trauma default, Brenda?
My trauma default was unworthiness. Okay.
And where did that stem from? Like, what was the conversation that you typically had, even up until last year, and maybe still to this day that you're working through it, but where did that stem from in your childhood? What was the root of that?
The root of that was a conversation that I had with my mother at 13. And I won't go into graphic detail, but I got in some trouble with her. And she basically told me, in her own words, that nobody would ever want me. And I believed her. She was my mother. She was the person I trusted, and I believed her. So my behavior took a turn. And because I believed I was unworthy, I didn't believe I was attractive. I didn't believe I was all these things because she said so. I dressed up. If I wasn't going to be the prettiest in the room, I definitely was going to be the best dressed. right? And I would spend tons of money on outfits. And when my son was born, I would spend tons of money on his clothing, even to the point when I couldn't afford it. Now I always had great jobs, but when you're spending more than you're bringing in, that just doesn't make sense, right? So I wanted to have the best, the nicest car. Purse don't care about, but the best shoes, the best outfit, all of that had to be the best because I was going to dress it up.
I used to say this all the time, but I've gotten nicer. Okay, you kept a straight face. Okay, dang, you didn't. I've gotten nicer in my growth.
Yes, you have.
Okay, great. So,
I'd agree with you.
but I used to always say, y'all are dressing up your brokenness. Like a
Yes.
lot of women who wear like the Fendi, you got F's all over your chest. Like you can see the Fendi sweater from a mile away. You see you got Fendi. Or the people who wear the Ferragamo belt, that belt buckle this big. I can see the belt sitting at the back of a room of a 3,000 person auditorium. I'm like, come on, man. Like that's just screaming to tell people I got money where, real wealthy people got their money up in assets. You don't really know when they walk down the street that they're wealthy,
You are
right?
correct.
And so the people who wear the most brands, and I'm not saying that wealthy people don't wear brands, but we get hooked into it and there's always a conversation that's going on. And so I want to unpack y'all, like her mom, it was one thing, right?
Mhm.
In Vision Founder Masterclass, I want to be clear. We're looking for that one conversation because everything that has happened in Brenda's life up to 70 years, that's when we're going to go, right? How old are you, Brenda? I want to call it.
71 now.
Okay, great. Happy birthday.
Thank
So
you.
everything that had happened to for and to through Brenda for 57 years, a lot of that was linked to that one conversation.
You are right.
So once you started to see, all right, I felt unworthy, it showed up in the way that I dressed and the way I spent my money. How did that show up at work?
In my later career, originally I was very competitive. Um, in my first jobs, I was always promoted quickly. I was the first Black female sales manager in my district at Xerox. I mean, I crushed it. But um, when I had Justin, I was a single mom. So I went through pregnancy alone at work, and I was the first woman to come back to work after having a baby. And I had white men say things to me that I couldn't repeat in public because they wanted me to quit. That left a scar, right? So I was still going to be competitive, but the root of that brought up the unworthiness yet again, right? So it just layered. Um, but what I realized was I could still compete, and even in my last job, I got promoted very quickly, 3 times in 1 year in one position. And but I would still go in rooms and almost hide, which made no sense. And I was saying to Christy earlier, I love the picture that she used of us to promote this session because I also went through a point where I hated taking pictures. I didn't like the way I looked. I would hide in the back. If it was a group, I would use the excuse of being tall to get in the back. And when they would say, okay, everybody ready, I would duck down. So my face would not be in the picture. Now, how crazy is that? But
Well,
that's the scar
yeah.
that unworthiness left.
So, okay, so we unpacked it in your job, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come. Well, I guess we'll stay on this. Okay,
Yeah,
right. We'll stay on this. So, you feeling unworthy is why you were competitive.
exactly.
Say that again. Okay, great.
Exactly. I was going to win.
So, so here's the thing about challenges. Napoleon Hill said, for every seed of adversity, there is an equivalent seed of benefit. So here's the thing, y'all. A lot of high achieving women have been through some ish. That's why high achieving women are high achieving. Right? I want to be clear. Successful women are successful because they're trying to outrun their past. Successful women are successful because they got some stuff that's going on, right? And it's all rooted in the trauma default. And we got a million buttons that people can push. And it's typically linked to wired to one button. You hit all these peripheral buttons, and so we're being triggered all the time. Right, Brenda? Like, you're being triggered all the time, but it's all connected to, if anybody made you feel unworthy, it's over. Right? Like, if anybody made you feel like you didn't belong, not saying that you excluded yourself and opted out. I'm talking about if somebody else says something, it's over. So you're competitive because you didn't feel worthy. So that did make you successful, but it didn't mean that you weren't trying to outrun a conversation that you couldn't get away from, because that conversation was deeply rooted in your psyche.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah. So, and you needed to make this money to pay for all these expensive clothes that you were buying. So that also made you to lose yourself, competitive. And so, I mean, super bougie. So now you're in the rooms that you deserve to be in, that you've worked to be in, but that voice, because you can't outrun the voice in your head that was a seed that was planted, 30, 40, 50 years ago, then you hide in the room, i.e. they call it now imposter syndrome, that you belong in, because you can't escape yourself.
That is perfectly true. And going through the vision finders, I realized I used imposter syndrome as an excuse. I wasn't an imposter. I'm who I am. I deserve to be there. I had a voice. I just had to use it correctly in the situations I was in. I deserved so much more, but my trauma default, when I would get to a point, and what I learned is the age doesn't matter. I still have value. I still deserve more. My worth, is exponentially more than I was ever paid, right? So I had to think about what can I do differently? And that's why I became a part of this group. And Christy is so good at holding, and the coaches are so good at holding us accountable, holding me accountable. I'm going to call you on your stuff. I don't care if you like it. I'm just going to call you on your stuff. And then I'll go and have my thoughts, and then I'll come back and say, that was absolutely right. Now, here's the other piece of that we got called on. As soon as you have a light bulb moment, you want to go fix somebody else. Instead of staying with what needs to be repaired in you. Because I can see it in other people, just like Christy can take a note card and go, yeah, I see that. I'm listening to her. I can listen to other people and do the exact same thing. Yeah, I can tell what her trauma default. I can tell, because I know enough now. But I can't fix everybody else. I've got to stay with me, because I'll run off the rails if I decide I want to coach and I haven't healed my own stuff.
But that's a thing about leaders and women who are high achievers. We ain't got time to fix our stuff, Brenda. We're not looking in the mirror. I want to be clear. We're not looking in the mirror. We ain't got time. We don't want to look. And so when we read books, we read them for other people. When we go to events, we go to events and we give other people advice based on what we learn. We're not eating what we're serving other people, and wondering why we over here looking decrepit and everybody else is happy. And we over here, I think it's in the book, Now Is 90 Days to Burnout Recovery, where it's like the mama bird got the worm in her mouth, and you can see her ribs, and she feeding 3 fat kids. Everybody around us fat. And we look like Skeletor because we.
That's so true. Pants falling off, can't keep you dressed up. Yep. But they look good.
But that's a part of that conditioning, and that's why you'll get in the room, right? And don't feel like you belong there, while other people feel like they belong there, because we put them in the room and then we self-sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
So what was most shocking to you when you started to like peel the layers back and look at your life?
I think the thing that was most shocking to me was I held my mother responsible, but I also had a father in the house, and I always gave him a pass. And I didn't have that aha moment until I was in these sessions. I was like, wait a minute. You was beating the hell out your mama, but you was letting your daddy off the hook. Why? So I had to go through that. Why did you allow him to be okay with his co-facilitation of your trauma default? Because he was.
Oh, that's good. That's deep. So who was your coach? And then what was your experience in the group? Because there's a lot of women who think that they want the one-on-one, right? And even last year, later last year, we tried the one-on-one model, we're just trying to, they're not the same because they don't have that gel. They don't have that congeal with the other women. So what was the benefit? Who was your coach? And then what are your thoughts on the coach, but then also the group dynamic?
Raquel was my coach. The first time I was in a group with her, and my group shifted. There were people who were leaving and people who were coming. My first experience with her was, I told Christy this a long time ago. I was going to call Christy and say, you know what? I need another coach. She done pissed me off already, and we already on week 2. Because she asked me to do something, and I said, I ain't doing that. I'm a grown-ass woman. I'm not doing that. Because, I don't like to be told what to do. I don't. So just shut up. Let me do what I want. Now I'm paying good money to tell somebody that I'm not going to do what you asked me to do. So there you go. But I eventually came around. And the group dynamic was amazing because I learned so much from the other women. I think we learned from each other, because what you realize is you're not alone in this journey. The face of it may look different, but there's trauma in all of us, and we're just trying to navigate it. And as Christy said, we were all high achieving women who had been so deeply wounded, and we were just trying to figure it out. And it was interesting to listen to us each week make excuses for why we were the way we were, right? It's like, well, see, you don't understand. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I understand perfectly. If you just shut the hell up and let's move on, we could fix this. Like, I could fix this in 20 minutes. But, and Raquel was great. She was like, now what I want you to do, I was like, girl, we could have fixed that problem. Let's move on. But anyway, so it was good for me to just say, I'm in this room with women who are phenomenal, and most of us don't even know it. We don't even know it.
So that's the problem, right? And so, Raquel, my coaches were my former clients. So y'all can't hide. We used to be y'all. You can't hide from us. We know what a boss woman is. Like, I got boss women on my team because we deal in the business of boss alpha women. So we can't be no boss over here messing with y'all who want to be paying money and then talking about what you not gonna do. We trying to set you free. So the community, because it's not 100 women in the room, it's 7 women in the room at max, right? So the community aspect is you can see how great other women are, and then you look at yourself, you be like, am I acting like that? Right? Like, I can't wait, I'm doing that too. So that's why I like the group dynamics, because it's one thing for us to tell you, it's another thing for you to see yourself reflected in other women, because high achieving women do the exact same thing, regardless of, you know, African American Black, Nigerian Black, Mexico, Ecuador, white, Dominican Republic. Like, we got women from Haiti, like all over the world, Jamaica, Singapore. I was talking to Cynthia. Cynthia's over in New Zealand. Cynthia be up at 2:00 in the morning, like with her looking crazy on the phone, but she's there, like wanting to be free. And so it's like, once you start to see yourself reflected in other high achieving women, because we don't gather because women are weaponized for us at a certain level.
Yes.
We don't trust women. We don't trust high achieving women, because high achieving women who are broken are dangerous, ticking time bombs. So we definitely can't collect together, not in the workplace and not in stranger, right? Like, you got stranger danger going on. And really that's rooted because we don't trust ourselves. So if we can't trust ourselves, we can't really trust other women.
That is perfectly said. Yeah. But our group was amazing. And even the last session for me was very hard, because I was thinking, I'm not going to be with them next week. I want to be with them, because we had bonded that deeply. And then when I moved to the monthly, it was the same thing. Other people, it's refreshing when other people see you and they tell you who they see, and when Christy would say to me, girl, you the bomb. I don't know I don't understand what the problem is. And I'm like, I'm getting there. I can stand in the mirror now every morning and say, I love you, girl. You're kind of cute. Look at you. And I could say my affirmations and I would believe them, because I think, and this was a constant theme in our group when I first started. I say the affirmations, but I don't believe them. Well, you say other crap, right? You stand up and you say, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm crazy. You can say that, but you can't say I'm smart, I'm uniquely made, I'm blessed, I'm highly favored. Just replace the words. You can say them. It's okay, because after a while you will believe it. So that was a real turning point for me, because I believe when I walk in the room, I'm supposed to suck the air out now. Why not?
Walk in the room like, what's up? I'm here. Brenda has arrived. Like, where's my round of applause? I'm here.
And I'm going to sit in the front and I'm going to have something to say. Thank you very much.
So let's talk about the affirmations, right? Because we don't really look at ourselves in the mirror and say positive things. We don't really look in the mirror, not in our verbal talk. And so there's a stat that says for every negative comment, you need 14 positive comments to negate the one negative comment. And if we really took accountability for the things that we say to ourselves, we say stuff to ourselves we would never say to other people. Never. Right? And that becomes normal. And so the goal with affirmations, which if I can get y'all, for God's sakes, to stand in the mirror and look at yourself and say something very easy, like, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, right? I'm rich. But that takes a whole process to get y'all to actually commit to doing it, because it's so hard to tell yourself how great you are.
I'll tell you how how became a very easy habit for me. In our session, you sent us the list, right, of affirmations. Put them on the bathroom mirror. I can't escape them if they're on the bathroom mirror. And after I got out of the shower and I'm drying off and I'm looking at myself and I'm doing my lotions and potions, I have to say them. It takes less than 10 minutes. You can go through them. But as you say them more, it takes more time because you're more committed to them. You're not just saying them out of rote memory. You're saying them because you believe them. And, I do the videos twice a week now, and one of them was on I am. And it's hard for me to get people to believe this, but I am means you are a co-creator with Christ. And people go, oh, I can't compare myself to Christ. Well, doesn't he live in you? If he lives in you and you say, I am, and he said I am, you are a co-creator. You are creating with your words. He spoke words, and the earth was, and there was light, and there was this. So when you say, I am stupid, okay, then you are. I'm broke, okay, then you are. But when I say I am, and I pay attention to what I say now, because and there's some people out there doing the content creation. Oh, that just killed me. I'm dead. No, don't say that. I'm dead. No, you're not. I speak life over you. I don't want you to say things out of your mouth that would destroy you. But I want you to believe what you say, because if you believe that you're dead, you're saying it enough, you will be spiritually, emotionally, financially. You may not lose your life, but you'll lose a lot. So I watch what I say. And I still have those affirmations on my mirror to this day. And I've been out of the group for over a year now. Still say them. I know them from memory, but I still have them on my mirror because I don't want to break the habit.
When we think about words, this is what I just got. And we think about spelling words. Words are spells.
Yes, they are.
Words are spells. So if you're casting a spell on yourself based on the words that are coming out of your mouth, what are you saying to yourself?
That's right.
Because we're using our words spell to be either you could be of service or just through neglect of understanding the conversations that are going on in your head, because a lot of us don't know. And Eckhart Tolle talks about I'm not the thoughts in my head. Well, who am I then? The one who sees it. So a lot of us are walking around neglecting to be able to create our own reality because we're not aware of what we're saying to ourselves. So what advice do you have for women right now who are going through it, right, at work, or the women who have the imposter syndrome? Because I like to ask my clients, after y'all have done a program about imposter syndrome, everybody be like this, it ain't real. And the imposter is the person who doesn't believe. The imposter is we're believing the wrong lie. Right? That's my definition. I'm asking for yours. For me, the imposter syndrome is we're greater and mightier in the land. We just don't know it. And the lie that we're believing is that the puny person that we think that we are, that doesn't belong in the room, that's actually the lie. So we're lying to ourselves. But what are your thoughts on the imposter syndrome, Brenda? And then what advice do you have for women who are going through it today? Because you know they are.
Originally, I believed it, and I don't anymore. Because to your point, even the puniest of us are more powerful than most people. Think about that. Right now, in the political climate that we're in, people are saying, well, aren't the Black women going to come and help us now? No, I think I'm going to sit this one out because I did my part. I lifted my heavyweight. So I know who I am. What I realized, my lesson learned was I was playing too low, playing in the wrong rooms. Oh, I think I want to be over there. That wasn't the job for me. I'll take that job because it'll pay my bills. No, I should have been fill in the blank. And where I see us going now is we have to make a decision. Where do you want to play? And how do you want to get there? And are you willing to invest in yourself to get there? This is a great place to do it. Because if you were like me, the money I spent on clothes alone, just clothes, you could pay for whatever you want. Now, here's what's interesting about me. I drive a car till the wheels fall off. I'm still driving a 2005 Acura. I don't care about a vehicle. Because when I get out of the car, it doesn't matter. I think we're frozen. But take inventory of what's important to you and make yourself a priority. Did I lose you? You back? I said some good stuff and you didn't even hear it.
I'm mad because you know my Wi-Fi. I told you my Wi-Fi been acting up all day, and the dude came on Friday, be like, "But what you fixed though, bro? But what you fixed though? Nothing." So I'm sitting here like I ain't cuss.
It's okay.
Okay. I hope did everybody else hear that, or did I just miss it? Like I don't know what was going on in the background. I have to watch the replay. So tell me what you said again, just in case we missed it, and then on the replay we'll cut this part. But go ahead.
Basically, what I said was,
okay, Thea heard it. No, I want to hear it though. Go ahead. Say it again.
You just have to make yourself a priority. And the money that I was spending in one place could have certainly been an investment somewhere else. And the example I used is, I like nice clothes, but I still drive a 2005 Acura. I don't care about cars. I'll drive them till the wheels fall off. I just don't care about a car. Because when I get out of the car, nobody's going to see the car, but you will see me. So you see where it goes back to the whole trauma default thing. I want to be seen differently. But now it's time for us to invest in ourselves, because we need to make decisions about what rooms we want to play in. And there are opportunities out there. I don't care what anybody says. There are people who have gotten rich during COVID. There are people who gotten rich through the depression. You can make money. But what do you do when you make the money? Are you going to stress yourself out? Are you going to, need mental health? And let me say one more thing. For those of you, and I can't, I'm not judging. I don't have a dog in this fight. Therapy is wonderful. But what I realized about therapy for me, it just uncovered a bunch of stuff, but it didn't fix anything. If you want to be healed, you've got to do a different type of work. Going to therapy will help you understand what you need to fix, but you still got to get it fixed. And this program helped me to focus on, okay, here's the work you need to do. The one thing I didn't do, it was hard. This was the hardest thing, the forgiveness piece. That book wore me out. I got to about page 15 or 20. I said, the heck with this. Listen, I'm too old for this crap. I'm not doing this. But I realized, and I made a list, who are the people you need to forgive? There's some people I'd rather shoot than forgive, right? One in particular, but I digress. But you've got to figure out what you're holding on to, because people always say, you need to fix your mind. No, you need to fix your heart. Your heart has its own brain. If you think about scripture, it always talks about the heart. And if your heart is broken, you've got repairs to do. And this is a good place to do it. And I don't want to be broken anymore. And I've just learned that keep working at it. You're never too old. You're never too broken. You can be repaired. And you can be happy. And I didn't say that for a long time. I would say I'm satisfied, but I wasn't happy. I'm happy. I'm happy now. So there you go.
That's what we do over here at Vision Find International. Go ahead.
And I'm
What you
still
say?
cute. I'm still wearing my St. John now. Not today, but okay.
You fine. You still fine. You still fine. Ain't nobody knocking that fineness. So I got 5 more questions for you.
Okay,
I'm gonna wear you out. How long you
go
got?
ahead.
Till 1 o'clock? You're like, how long you got? Till 1? Okay. Cause I want to squeeze the juice today.
Okay.
Let's talk about how it's interesting because when I think about therapy, and I think that's what took me, I ain't gonna say what took me so long, but I have to be ready for the heat because I had to mature into my word because I ain't no punk and I'm not accustomed to people talking to me sideways and these whole social media people who be talking trash. Like I'm not, it took me, and I apologize, but I don't. Does that make sense? Because
Yes.
I have to be mature enough to be able to handle the platform that I'm now stepping into by having these deeper conversations and telling people what we really do. And for a long time, Brenda, I think that I held Vigivana Masterclass real tight to my chest. I made y'all jump through 1,000 hoops before y'all got on the phone with us. Like it wasn't easy. You had to do research before you got on the phone. I felt like I was keeping it like one of the closely guarded secrets. And so I had to grow into being able to have these conversations. So when people, the medical professionals and whoever come for me, like I got too many results for y'all to be like playing over here with me and playing in my face. Cause I'm not crazy, but I'm a little crazy. And I ain't used to people coming for me in the comments. I had to grow into that. So that's just Christy Rutherford. We have to grow into stuff. I ain't the one. You say something to me, I'm gonna be like right back. Like it ain't gonna be good. I had to write back and be like this. I'm gonna pray for them. So okay, I digress on that. But I had 3 therapists before I left the Coast Guard. The first one wanted to medicate me, and he didn't listen to me talk. Now, thinking back on it, I had anxiety and my arthritis had come back, but I'm like, teach me how to fix this. Don't just medicate me, right? Like, I don't want to just be medicated to survive. I wasn't created for that. I'm a high achiever. I want to win. Okay.
Yeah.
And if this thing is going to mess up my cognitive ability to be able to make decisions and not win, I don't want it. So I cussed him out and slammed the hinges, tried to break the hinges off the door. I mean, you already know this dude wanted to medicate me. And I was like, but are you going to help me fix this? And he was like, no, I want you to put on medication. I was like, no, we ain't doing that. And then I went to, a lady and we would just talk for an hour and then that was it. And I'm like this, but then we moved the needle forward. Like high achievers, we need something different. Nothing got moved here today. There was no KPI that was hit. There was no goal that was hit. Like we didn't move down the field. We just sitting here week after week. I'm right here. And actually you making me dig the stuff up. I'm actually progressing backwards because now you got me to slow down long enough, Brenda, to acknowledge the SHIT show that I've created in my life, but you're not giving me the tools to fix it because I got my next goal. Right? Yeah. Crazy. Like we got our next thing that we want to achieve. So if I am going to slow down, which by the time we slow down, we in trouble. I mean, I want to be clear. By the time a high achiever admits to ourselves that we in trouble, we 90% in the ground. By the time we confess it to somebody else, we 95% in the ground about to die. The only thing that's left out is our finger. It's like, so by the time I got to therapy, I was so far gone. And so I'm like, help me. Like, if this is going to be the last light ring, I'm progressing backwards because you're making me aware of the SHIT show and the skeletons that I'm dragging around. Now I'm dancing in a Thriller video with Michael Jackson, and we're not putting these skeletons in. So it made it worse because
I agree.
We're not doing anything. So, I don't blame them and I don't blame anybody, right? Because that was me, but I wasn't willing to, had I done the hard work before I almost died. And then of course that was even, I burned out a year and a half after that. But, I just wanted to say I honor and respect all professionals who are here to serve other people. How about that?
I do too. I do too.
But what we do different is we looking for the one thing. It's 1 or 2 conversations. And that takes that's just my gift. That's what we do over here is what's your trauma default? And if I listen to you long enough, I already know what it is. I just got to get you to confess it, which is what a part of the work is, Brenda, when Raquel is trying to give people like the light stuff. We have to guide y'all through it. We know what y'all supposed to do. We know the straight line. Sometimes y'all got to walk it out and be able to feel the things that we want y'all to feel because we're walking around numb from the neck down. We don't feel nothing. So there's no joy. There is no passion. There are no fireworks. There are no taste the rainbow of the Skittles life, which, we want all y'all to be over here weird like us, right? Like there is no passion. There is no, oh, I'm going to jump up and I'm going to kill it. There is no happiness. There is no harmony. But so we have to guide y'all through a process to get us to actually feel when the raindrop hits our face, because we don't feel anything.
Right. That's correct.
But so go ahead.
But one of the challenges is, as you're going through the program and you start to feel things, that can be scary too, because we've been numb so long. And you go, wait, oh, I had a feeling. Ooh, that was good. Wait, what? Wow, that blew my hair back. I don't have hair. Wait, what?
Yeah, it's a journey. You're like, wait, I just felt the rain. And you're like, how long has it been since I felt the rain on my face?
Go walk in the grass. I don't want my feet in the grass. Oh, yay.
So let's talk about, how because before I ask this question, I want to back up just a little bit. I want to talk about how your unworthiness showed up in your relationships and you not feeling pretty, because I'm going to back it up. I don't know. Do you want to answer that question? You can say no, and I'll just move on. But I want to talk about it because people, when I give the stats finally, because I only talked about money for the past 5-6 years. Let's get this money. You hate your job. Let's get this job. Now I'm like this. Let's peel it back just a little bit. So I talked about, we got $20 million in salary raises. We've doubled 27 women's salaries, triple 17, got 9 women 7-figure packages. That's what we do over here. We got, 50 women off of high blood pressure, diabetes medication, because we're walking around not feeling anything. And if you're stuck in consistent suppressed rage, that materializes in medical conditions. Yes. We saved 30 marriages, right? Including Raquel, because so the women who are married, they should be like, well, how about we fix you first? And then you can see, once we figure out what the trauma default is, some women, I'm going to say some, a lot of women create their marriages out of their brokenness, and it shows up and materializes. I'm not talking about you, but it materializes in their marriages. And once they fix that, then they can fix what's really going on. And they're not having these petty arguments that they used to have like back in the day. So how did that show up in your relationships? Because it's, when people wonder, how can a career coach, do blood pressure and, marriages and all this other kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm just fixing the woman. If I fix the woman, we set the woman free, everything changes. It's not just about the job, but we want our money too.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Well, for me, I started a pattern that was linked to the unworthiness of being with men who were not worthy of me. I chose unavailable men and stayed too long most of the time, and was so proud. Oh, I've been with him for 5 years. Oh, I've been with him for this. And I was like, girl, you shouldn't have been with him, period. I don't even know why we're having this conversation. And I would do long distance relationships so I wouldn't have to be bothered, right? And I used this is funny that you bring this up. I used my grandmother's excuse. My grandmother was a single parent. So she would say, there was a man that wanted to marry her. She was like, I don't want no man over my children because, he might not treat them well, or he might do this, that, and the third. So I use the same excuse. I'm not going to commit and he's not going to commit because I don't want no man over my son. Duh. You didn't want no man, period. You just wanted to hang out a little bit and do what you was going to do. And once I realized that, I've come to the very real realization that I'm fine being by myself. I like being with me. I don't want to do hospice care with no old man. I'm not going to take care of no man that can't get up out of a chair and just want to be fed and get his clothes washed and all that stuff. I'm not doing that. So I like being here by myself with me. I do. I come and go as I please. I eat what I want to eat. That works for me. I sleep on one side of the bed. I ain't got to move now. And here's my revelation. You know how people will tell you, if you want a man and you want to manifest, you need to clean out part of your closet and a drawer for him and make room. What the hell? I don't need to clean out nothing. If he want me, he need to clean out of his house. He need to provide a house for me. I'm not going to clean out nothing for somebody to move up in my house. Are you lost your mind? No. I'm going to fill the closet. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 closets, and every one of them is full, and I'm not cleaning out nothing. If he want me, provide for me. Thank you very much. That's my speech for the day. Lost your darn mind. Clean out clean off the bed. No. No. Buy a king size bed for me. You make your own space.
I gotta y'all please follow Brenda. Brenda drops videos every day on LinkedIn. Y'all please follow Brenda. Are you dropping videos are you dropping
Wednesday and Sunday?
Wednesday and Sunday on LinkedIn, please. Y'all gotta connect with Brenda to get these videos because you cracking me up. All right, last question. When we talked about because you grew up in times, so so you're the same age as my mom, actually. She'll be 70 this year, 71. So it's like
that's frightening.
I'm only 21. So
shut up.
I'm only 21. I don't know what you're talking about. But when I think about the challenges, when I talk to women, I'm afraid for other people, right? Because I've been in the game a long time, just like we talked about earlier with regards to how we give other people advice. I've been a coach before I knew coaching was a thing. I went to a conference and I listened to a woman talk about coaching. I'm like, wait, that's a thing? Because that's what I do, right? I was like, wait, I can get paid for this? This is when I was in the coach call. Wait, hold up. I can get a certification to do what I already do. So I'm coaching by purpose. That's just a part of my natural DNA. That's just my makeup, which is why I'm so great at it. But I've been observing, I want to be clear, don't nobody do it better, Brenda. I mean, you know how I think about myself. But I've been observing people for a long time. That's just a part of my natural thing. And throughout the years, people have always had hope for something better. Mm-hmm. People have always had hope for something different. And in 2020, I was like, you know what? We're going to see in the next 3-4 years, because 2020 was a wake-up call. It should have been a wake-up call for a lot of people. Yes. And I was like, we're going to see the women who stuck their heads in the dirt, because there was a lot of them. And then the women who actually used this opportunity and used these times as an opportunity to clean up what was going on in their life. And as each year has passed, the level of awareness and mental capacity of the women that I serve, and maybe I used to serve, I'm like, I don't know if I got to go talk to some fish or something, have gone down drastically, but the opportunities are still vast and expansive, but the mental capacity of women, high achieving women who are my favorite, is starting to go down so low. I just like, am I talking to a freaking Campbell soup can? I feel like I'm talking to myself sometimes, because it's like, is there anybody left to listen that the sky is the limit if you just made the decision to get up? Mm-hmm. And that's why I like to bring my clients on, because people keep thinking that we all going through something. I'd be like this. No, we ain't. or I'm too old to change. You'd be like, let me rebuke that devil in the name of Jesus. Let me bring Brenda on the line, who fine as wine, and started working on herself. I mean, you've been doing work, but you did the deep work at 70. So it's never too late. What is your advice for people who don't believe that something good can happen for them?
My advice is, if you can believe that there's nothing more, you can also believe that there is more. It's a choice. And when you say you see the level going down for women who are high achievers, yeah, we're tired, but I'm not going to stay tired forever, right? When in 2020, the day the country was shut down for COVID was my first day of radiation. I was out on the highway by myself. There were no other cars going to the hospital. If I can get through that, really, you're telling me that I can't get up? You can get up. You have to make a choice. And if you want better, you got to figure out what better looks like. And sometimes we just don't know. I want more. What does that mean? We have to start putting some parameters around the things that we desire, because God will give you the desires of your heart. But where we get stuck is we don't ask. And we don't ask big enough, because back to trauma default, we don't think we're worthy to ask big enough. So if you've been disappointed, you can also be happy. It's not just one singular thing. You can be more. And you can be your own best cheerleader. If you're waiting for somebody else to tell you that you're great, go in your bathroom, stand in front of the mirror, and tell yourself, you're great and I love you. That's all you need. And then have a little, as the old people used to say, have a little talk with Jesus. Pray. Get in your word, because it will sustain you. But you can't do this on your own. That's why we have this community. We have this community because we encourage each other. I had lunch with someone from this community a few weeks ago. It was so refreshing, because you don't know who's in your city sometimes, right? And we can do things for each other. That's the other advice I would tell you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Sometimes I come in the house with 15 bags of grocery. My next door neighbor, he's sitting out there. He's like, Miss B, you need some help? No, I got it. One day I just set them all down and said, yeah, but get up and bring this stuff in the house for me. I don't have to be Superwoman. That's what he's sitting over there for. Bring the groceries in the house. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Love you. Now go on. That's all I got.
Who you had lunch with?
Celestine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Celestine's awesome. Three things that you said.
Mm-hmm.
Women are disappointed, tired, don't dream, don't ask big enough, right? But if they understood, which goes back to something that you talked about earlier, that if you're co-creating your reality with God, you are the highest and best expression of God in these times, created for such a time as this. If you understand that you're not alone, and that I always be like, I'm a vessel used by God to carry out his will to his people, which is why I get disappointed, because I be like, I ain't got to do this. But you be like, well, that's what God has got me here for. You be like, fine, what do I have to say to get these women to listen so I can do my job of why I'm here, of what God has called me to do? So I got to jump through hoops and figure out how to do whatever to be able to get the word out that it doesn't matter of the chaos that's going on in the world. You have to make sure the chaos doesn't get in you.
That's right.
Then become you. But what you got to do is figure out what's that root cause of what's going on in that root conversation. Trauma default. Okay. The last thing you said, I don't have to be Superwoman. If that wasn't a mic drop, oh God, I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. Maybe somebody going to beat me to it. That should be your t-shirt line. I don't have to be Superwoman. We're not doing that no more. We took our cape off. Be like this. I ain't doing that. No, I'm not trying to do that no more. So what advice do you have for women who are considering joining us over here at Vision Finder International and they're not sure? What's your word, Brenda?
What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you came to this today and you're still sitting on the fence, get off the fence. You are wondrously and uniquely made. Nobody else can do what you do. You just got to figure out where that fits. And this will help you do that. Just because Christy does her thing one way, I don't do it the same way. But we're in lockstep on what we want women to have. And that's success in every area of your life. If you want that, invest in you. Stop making excuses. Invest in you. It'll change your life. Call me, I'll tell you. Now, I'm not going to coach you because that's not my job. I don't get paid for that.
I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna drop this thing, and then I'm gonna talk about why you said that. You can text "seize the moment" to 66866 to get 10 of my affirmation cards. I'm giving away affirmation cards, not Trauma Default affirmation cards, but I'm giving away 10 affirmation cards. So if you want to get my affirmation cards, text "seize the moment" to 66866, and you'll get those immediately delivered into your inbox. So what's funny is I had Brenda on a one-day event. I was last year sometime. And
Yes.
this is interesting because this is another reason why, Brenda, I didn't make it. I never really tagged all of my clients. Like Zarina be like, why you don't tag us in y'all pictures? I'd be like, you don't even understand what happens. Like I never really, we got pictures, I got events. I never put up the videos. I never put the pictures up. I got camera rolls, thousands of pictures with my clients and the things that we do. Because what happens is people see y'all free and they want to get in y'all inbox and ask y'all to coach them for free, which is insane. So talk to us about that. Like, how did it feel to have somebody say, coach me? And then how did it feel to have somebody say, coach me on your freedom?
Well, this person didn't technically ask me to coach her. She just tried to slide in and I need your advice on this. And do you think you could talk to me about this? And do you have some time on Saturday? And I said, Christy's inbox is this. You certainly feel free to call her at any time because I am not available for that. The questions you're asking me are related to Vision Finder, and that's not my responsibility. And that was as nice as I could be about it because you can get sucked in real quick, oh, I love your story. And, I just think you're wonderful. That's BS. You just want something from me right now. And I'm smart enough to see that. And I'm not being mean about it. I'm just being, you had an opportunity to join. Take the opportunity.
Well, I think the thing about it, Brenda, is people are looking for the quick fix, right?
Yeah.
And I want to end on a high note, but we want to be real here. It took you 57 years, right? And you got some stuff before 13, but that one anchor point changed your whole life. It's only really like one thing, right? So people are looking for the quick solution, right? They're looking for a word. They're looking for the thing in the book. They're looking for their confidence. They're looking for, like the quick fix. And I'm not saying that it's hard, y'all. It ain't that hard, but it is some work because you got here based on a process. And once we find the one thing, it rewrites the whole script for your life.
Yes.
That's how you can be like, oh my God, that's what happened at that job. They were crazy, but I was hiding in the back of the room. Oh, well, that's what happened with this boss. Yes, he was toxic, but I was pretending that I didn't belong, that I wasn't supposed to be there. So he only treated me like the way that I was showing up.
That's
so
correct.
It helps you forgive and let go of the stories that we're holding on to and the baggage that y'all are dragging around, pointing fingers at other people. And it's like, dang, I did that. And if you can understand that you're the creator of your circumstances, you can also understand that you're the cure.
That's right.
And then what happens is when you get clean and when you get clear, now you become a master at drawing boundaries. Right? Like we're not that good at drawing boundaries and saying no. We have a whole week on teaching you how to say no. We're not that good at that. That's a high achieving woman thing. But once you get free, that joy is worth protecting. The joy and the happiness and the feeling is worth protecting. Do you have any last words before we close out, Brenda?
All I can say is it's.
Did my Wi-Fi go out again?
I don't think so.
Lord,
it's there.
Lord,
She's
Lord,
singing.
Lord.
Do it. That's all I can tell you. It was worth it. And Christy has always got me. I've got her. So you're in a community. Take advantage of it.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, I hope that this has been useful to y'all on this Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. And yeah, get my affirmation cards and then check us out over here at Vigifying International. But what I really want y'all to remember is, you know, joy is possible. Happiness is possible. And if Brenda can be over here looking as fine as she is doing it in her St. John, you know, you deserve that happiness and that joy too. Bye, y'all. Don't hang up, Brenda.
Okay.
Bye, y'all.